Hello, my name is Hans. In early 2022, I made a round trip through Italy. I headed down along the west coast towards Sicily, took a ferry boat to Sicily, and then made a tour around a big part of the island. After returning to the mainland, I explored Calabria and Apulia at the very southern end of Italy. And finally, I headed back north along the eastern coast of the Mediterranean Sea. I visited a few cities in northern Italy and ended the tour with a visit of the famous Cinque Terre. My report is divided into 4 short video clips. This is La Spezia from above, with its harbor, the ferry boats and the mountains in the background. From a touristic point of view, La Spezia is not specifically interesting. I just spent a night there. The small town of Porto Venere, just a few kilometers southwest of La Spezia, has a little harbor overlooked by a medieval fortress, colorful houses and nice restaurants. It's well worth a visit. After my night at La Spezia and the visit of Porto Venere, I'm now heading towards the city of Lucca, located in Tuscany. Lucca is well known for its medieval city, its more than 4-kilometer long well-preserved city wall, and its various high towers, one of which you can see in the background. Due to its famous textile industry, Lucca ranged among the most important European cities during the 13th and 14th century. The beautiful Roman churches, the wide piazzas, and the many splendid buildings still provide evidence for the city's former importance. The almost 3 miles long city wall wasn't constructed in the medieval times, but only during the 17th century, so it had to withstand the much stronger weapons of that time. That's why the wall is up to 40 feet high and about 70 feet thick. The Piazza Anfiteatro is Lucca's biggest plaza. It has an egg-shaped form because, as its name says, it was built in the place of the former amphitheater. While being in Lucca, I was at that very nice campsite located about 2.5 miles outside of the city, which, as you can see, wasn't very full at that point in time. After 2 nights in Lucca, I'm heading south towards a small medieval village located on top of a steep tuffstone cliff, the so-called Civiltà di Bagnoregio. The village can only be reached by a very steep pedestrian bridge. The brief visit to Bagnoregio was definitely worth the effort. This is a view on the humongous excavation site of the city of Pompeji, which was completely destroyed 79 AD in a volcano eruption. The culprit for this destruction, the Mount Vesuvius, can be seen in the background. The thick ash depositions preserved the city remnants extremely well. Pompeji fell into complete oblivion for about 1700 years and was only rediscovered in the 18th century. Systematic excavations only started in 1748 and continue until today. The camping village Zeus is located in very close walking distance to the entrance of the Pompeji excavation site. The camping site has all amenities needed, is well taken care of, and is ideally located for a visit of Pompeji. I continued on to the legendary Amalfi Coast, located just about 30 miles south of Naples. I took one of the famous public buses to Amalfi City. The drivers miraculously managed to maneuver the buses with basically no space along the narrow and winding coastal roads. Quite a number of tourists, even during winter time. The region is well known for its lemon plantations and for the final product, the delicious limoncello. There is definitely much more to be seen, but the weather turned really bad and I decided to keep going. A good reason to come back another time. Paestum is located only 40 miles south of Amalfi. I stayed at the camping site Villaggio dei Pini, right by the sea, with many campers staying there all winter long. The archaeological park is just 1.5 miles away. The World Heritage Site Paestum is an ancient Greek settlement founded here in around 600 BC because of the fertile soil in this area. In 274 BC, the settlement was conquered by the Romans and received its present name, Paestum. Besides the foundation walls of all the town buildings, 3 Greek temples have survived the past 2,500 years and are still in good shape. In the foreground you see the Temple of Hera, built in 550 BC. Next is the Temple of Neptune from 460 BC. The last temple is located at the far end of the settlement. This temple, dedicated to Athena, is from around 510 BC. From around 500 AD, the area turned gradually into a swamp, was ultimately abandoned, and the entire site was forgotten and only rediscovered in 1740. With a stopover for night at Sapri, I continued my way south to the next destination, Tropea. The highway E45 is of good quality and free of charge in this area. It passes through the Italian heartland and the foothills of the Apennine Mountains, and it reaches elevations of 3,000 feet and more. To say it right away, Tropea is great. The town is perched above the blue waters of the Tyrrhenian Sea on a 120 feet high limestone cliff. Right opposite of the historic center on another steep rock formation, you find the small pilgrimage church Santa Maria dell'Isola. The only camper site which is open in winter time is located right beneath the small church and very close to the sea. The old town, situated on top of the cliff, can be reached by a staircase that is adjacent to the camping site. The very picturesque historic center, with its narrow and winding lanes and its medieval buildings like the cathedral, is well worth an excursion. The city is known for this special grade of sweet red onions. Close to the city you find this big port for fishing and sports boat, which is laid out quite nicely. In summary, don't miss out to see Tropea. Only a few miles away you can take a look at the steep rock formation of the Capo Vaticano and the turquoise blue waters of the Mediterranean Sea. I'm on my way for the ferry to Sicily now, and at the horizon you can take a first glimpse of the smoking volcano Mount Etna. In the second part of my video I will explore Sicily and also the Mount Etna. Don't miss out on part 2.